Alrighty, so the next section that we're going to cover in our system management is SSH. And SSH is more secure than Telnet that we've been using because SSH can encrypt traffic, whereas Telnet transfers data in simple plain text. Telnet uses port 23 and SSH uses port 22. So let's have a look at the topology that we've been using. And we see that in the topology, it's the same one that we've been using previously. We're going to have our Linux box SSH in to our Cisco ASA CLI. Alright, so I will actually do the configuration on the ASA this time because there isn't any configuration really to do in regards to SSH on the Linux box because SSH is already enabled. So if I was to open up our CLI firewall, now a couple of things that we have to know in regards to SSH. We're going to have to generate some crypto keys. Now, those crypto keys, they take a hash from the username and from an IP domain name. So those are two things that you have to have on the box to get crypto keys generated. So let me just do that now. So the first thing I'm going to do is jump over here and I'm going to say the domain name is going to be routercoach.com. And our host name is going to be, let's just routercoach ASA firewall 1, something like this. All right. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to give myself a username and a password that we should be able to use to log in. So the username is going to be Ibrahim and password of routercoach. And I'm going to give it the top privilege level, which is privilege 15. That means we have access to all of the commands. Then what we have to do, on the ASA, we say AAA authentication SSH from our console, and we're going to use the local database. Now the local database is what we've just used here of username Ibrahim and password routercoach. You could probably use something like Radius or TACAX as well, but we don't have a Radius or TACAX server connected, so we're going to be using our local database. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to generate those crypto keys. If I say crypto key generate an RSA modulus, and we're just going to say 1024. Now I know that's not very secure, but that's what I'm going to use. Or not the most secure. Oh, it's already got some. Yeah. Let's replace those. Now what we have to say also is anything coming in from the management interface, any IP address is going to be allowed to SSH. So SSH 0.0.0.0 and again 0.0.0 coming in through the management interface. And that's probably it actually. Let's save that config. I will also use SSH version 2. Alright, so now let's jump onto our Linux box and see what's the dealio, if we can actually get access to our ASA. Guys, I have a request from you. If you're enjoying the free content, I'm looking to increase my subscriber count to 4,000 subscribers by June. But I can only do that if you give me the Play Special. Do you want to know what the Play Special is? Press like and yeah, subscribe. Okay, back to the video. So if I say SSH with the username of Ibrahim at 172.16.0.1 and it says unable to negotiate to the ASA, which is 172.16.0.1 on port 22. We know that port 22 is SSH. No matching key exchange method found. Their offer is Diffie-Hellman Group 1 SHA-1. Now there's a couple of ways that we can tackle this. The first way is if we have actual access to our Linux box for SSH, because sometimes you might have access to the Linux box, but you might not have access to the ASA and vice versa. I'm going to show you both ways. So if you have access to the Linux box, what we would do, we would change the SSH config file. So I can say nano etc ssh underscore config. And you see here at the top, I've already added it in here. So the command that you need is kex algorithms equals, and then plus Diffie-Hellman-group 1 SHA-1. That's the command. So when you saw on the Linux box previously, it said that this was the offer coming from the ASA. So if we now say Control X We save that file. You see that all we've done is added the Kex algorithm of Diffie-Hellman group 1 SHA-1. Now, if we were to SSH, all right, we just have updated our crypto key. So all we have to do is say, copy this command here and paste it in. Sorry, it doesn't work, Control V. So what I will do is just try and get a paste. I don't want to have to do this all by hand manually. Okay, yeah, paste that in, enter, good. Now let's try and SSH again. Type yes, type the password. I'm not sure if I put an enable password. If not, I will have to do that on the ASA. Okay, so I haven't put an enable password. All I have to do is jump on the ASA and say enable password of router coach. Now if I jump back onto our Linux box and put that password in, you can see that we have access to our ASA from the Linux box via SSH. But let's say that we didn't have access to the Linux box. We only had access to the ASA, and someone remotely was like, please, you need to give us SSH access. So let's change that. Let's go back into here and let's hash this out. Save that config. Let's see if we can SSH now, which we shouldn't be able to. Yeah. So if we now jump onto our ASA, and the command here we have to use is SSH key exchange group DH group 14 SHA-1. This is the key exchange that's coming from our Ubuntu box. Let's save that config. Let's jump back onto our Ubuntu box, and I'm expecting that we can now SSH to the ASA. Which we can. And I'll be putting those commands on the blog, so go across if you didn't quite catch everything there. Go across to www.routercoach.com, look for our blog on SSH, and I will see you in the next video.